Hey, welcome back, everybody. I am here with me Halo mug. And 343 have released their outcomes report for Season 1. So there's some interesting stuff in here, and I'm going to do what I do best and really just whittle this down into the stuff that I find most important or exciting. This may not be everything. I mean, this is in fact not everything in this. Please go read this yourself. They have a TLDR. I'm going to run through that. And then a lot of stuff has more explanation. There's some really great stuff in here, and I highly recommend reading. It's very readable. But again, I'm going to focus on the stuff that I like the most. So here we go. We're going to riff through this really fast. This is the TLDR. You can just throw me on in the background here and listen to all the things that they are fixing for Season 2. Oh, that's the good stuff. Audio-wise, the ability to hear an opponent's shield recharge sound will be reduced to prevent providing too much information about a player's location. I haven't really come across this one, personally. The volume of the Grunt Birthday Party sound effects will be increased in campaign. Another one I haven't really played with much. I recall it being too loud last time I tried, but maybe I haven't done it enough. Catalyst, the new arena map, will be added to multiple playlists day 1. King of the Hill will be added to multiple playlists. Attrition will be added to multiple playlists. In Attrition, a revived player will be able to move immediately after spawning back in. That makes sense. There was that little kind of wait time when you got revived, so it sounds like it's going to be a lot more you just get to move. Your motion tracker will have its outer edge detection enabled for shooting and sprinting in social playlists. Now, they dive into this further on, so I might as well discuss that right now. Players who are sprinting, shooting, or operating vehicles but are just outside of radar range will now show up on the outer fringe of the motion tracker. The inside will stay the same. Arena's motion tracker distance will be 18 meters with edge functionality at 30 meters. Big Team Battle 24, edge functionality 40. I think I'm okay with this. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. This one, give me your thoughts. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this one. I gotta ponder on it a bit more. Great for casual players. I will always say that. I swear by that. Radar as a whole thing is great for casual play. It just gets people into the action. Less people know where others are. And, Breaker will be added to matchmaking on day 1. That's the new BTB map. They're saying it is a pretty unique map in Halo Infinite, so I'm really excited to see that. Apparently, the map features a giant moving laser that cuts across the center of the map and destroys anything that gets caught in the beam. Tighter, faster playing BTB map feels different than anything else they have in Infinite. All right. Kick ass. Jeff Steitzer's voice is returning to call out player-earned medals in BTB. Welcome back. An issue causing asymmetrical weapon rack spawns has been addressed. Good to hear. I've definitely run into that sort of thing before in BTB where it's like, man, and they mentioned, I don't know if they mentioned it here as well, but there's also an asymmetry when it came to vehicle spawns. They found that bug and are also fixing that. Rather than track a player's entire session, the CSR progression bar will now reflect the progress made from their most recent match. They'll be addressing some custom game bugs with more coming down the road. Unfortunately, regarding this, it's kind of wishy-washy. They're like, yeah, we're working on custom games. There's a lot to be done on custom games. A lot. It's under talked about. I have tried my hardest, especially in the early days of Infinite. I tried my hardest to create some fun game types, and you can't. There's nothing you can do realistically. Like, yeah, you can change your starting weapons. Yahoo! There's not too much exciting. We had one little fun BTB kind of match once, and that was it. There's, come on. They made some balance adjustments to personal AI and Spartan chatter, and down the line, they're going to continue working on the ability to really kind of customly tweak the audio levels of those different things. A lot of noticeable stability improvements for PC, including crashes. As a PC guy myself, that's great. Melee fights should be more consistent, with opponents phasing through each other less and whiffing less when a melee should have connected. I experienced that a ton. Very excited. This is probably one of the biggest things in this update. A global melee damage decrease of 10% on all weapons, which will require the Mangler to now be a 2-shot melee. Great. I had a lot of fun with that, obviously. It's just a one-hit crazy kill machine. But fun and fair are two different things. It's annoying to get surprised by that. I know a lot of the competitive players absolutely hated the Mangler. But again, a 10% decrease globally. Your melees do 10% less damage. That is a big deal. That's a potentially massive change to the game. They did note here that the BR in ranked play, I'm pointing over here so it means anything. It's my second monitor of other notes here. The BR in ranked play will remain the same, so you can keep it having that 2-shot beatdown. The base fire on the Ravager, the non-charged up shot, will see a damage increase. That's good. I think it's, I feel like people hate the Ravager more than I do, but it does feel like you're like, man, that just core shot is just not strong enough. So that's good to hear. Player outline system, your friend or foe recognition system. You'll have options to modify it, like opacity and thickness based on your preference. So you can just get rid of it if you want. I don't, it's probably not going to be helpful to you, but if you are, that averse to it, you could, I guess. Players felt that the drop wall did not offer enough protection, and they also believe that the overshield did not provide enough extra health. They agree with both of those points, and in Season 2, there'll be some balance tweaks. Chopper splatter damage will be increased. Good, should be. The Banshee's agility and damage output will be increased to improve its role as a strike fighter. We're all aware of this. The Banshee is just paper thin, and I suck at getting killed. I guess everyone does, right? Just awful getting kills with the Banshee. It's a splatter tool, right? Like, I just flip onto people. I just splatter them. That's what it's good for. So they're not adjusting the Banshee's health, but they are making it do more damage and have more agility. So I think that makes sense because the Wasp is just bananas right now. Players felt that the Warthog and Razorback should be more resistant to flipping and bouncing. They acknowledge this. They say, obviously, a lot of the fun of the Warthogs in Infinite, and I do agree with this, is the bouncing and the rolling, and it's a great time. However, maybe it's a bit much sometimes. And so technically what they're doing is they're pushing out the position of the tires while reducing the angles they consider valid ground. So it'll widen its footprint and give the suspension more room to absorb force, and it will treat the ground as more flat than it actually is. So both the both the Warthog and the Razorback will be affected by this. Mongoose, they're going to keep watching it and seeing how they feel about it. There's a desire right now for increased physics impulses for like grenade jumping and the like. It's something they're just kind of continually evaluating because it is a tricky thing. They say balance wise, it opens up a lot of doors. So, and I fully understand that. It's something we're so used to though. So I don't know, maybe they can find a little bit more of a grenade jumpy kind of middle ground. This is one of my favorite points in the whole article here. Feedback. Controller players believe mouse and keyboard players have the advantage. Feedback. Mouse and keyboard players believe controller players have the advantage. As someone who plays on both and recognizes the difference in both, there are differences. One is not inherently better. I mean, statistically speaking, I believe the controller's better. Controllers have consistently more accuracy, and that really matters in a game like Halo, especially with BRs. Obviously, with a keyboard, you're going to rock a lot harder with being able to really quickly fly abilities off and do, repulse jumps and like sniping. And there are differences. At the end of the day, there are differences. People from either side, it's so easy to blame the other person's input method as to why you're losing. I personally, since I mainly play on mouse and keyboard, I do recognize when I'm playing against a controller player because they are going to beat me in a BR fight every time. It's so much easier to stay on where you have to track. That is way harder on a mouse and keyboard than it is on controller. However, I pick up a sniper and you're in trouble. So it's something they're monitoring, right? They're obviously aware, but it's so tricky to find that middle ground when like both are right and both are wrong. I'm telling you, that's the truth. Players want the ability to see the second grenade type in the HUD. That is frustrating. I agree. They're gonna keep looking at that and doing long-term HUD improvements. Seeing what your secondary grenades are is definitely important. And they also just want to make the HUD more customizable overall, and that would be awesome. And they say this one's a ways off, but one of their first targets is to allow players to display their equipment next to their radar, like in Reach and Halo 4. I love that idea. Yeah, I still, even after all this time, I'm still not in love with putting so much kind of down and to the right. Like, I don't know, it was a very interesting design choice, where I feel like it's kind of more real estate everywhere and where my eyes are used to going. And so HUD customization sounds great. Would love that. The other thing I want to note in here is they talked about some UX, UI stuff about just making customization easier and the like. A lot of this stuff is just responding to a desire for change and less, oh, this is being actioned on right away. The first stuff I listed off is pretty much being actioned on right away. So yeah, there's some interesting stuff in here. Again, just like looking back through this, I think the biggest one is obviously that global melee damage, new maps, Jeff Steitzer, Warthog bounciness, some of that stuff, increased Banshee power. Yeah, some neat stuff in here. So again, did not cover everything in here. There is more to read. Definitely go look at it. Link is in my description there. Some neat stuff. I've consistently loved the quality of these posts. I love how honest they are in these posts. And obviously, we're all on the same page here. You don't need to beat a dead horse. We all know that we want more from Halo Infinite, right? We are all on the same page. Don't waste your time typing it. It has been, this is not the channel, for one. We've all heard it a million times. I could just make a video every day saying, 343, what are you doing? Sweet Jesus, where are blank? Why don't we have blank? It's not gonna change anything, all right? We're all on the same page. So I'm focusing on what they are actioning on here. Is it enough? Probably not. We want more stuff. And I still stand by it, just like that there's gotta be something we aren't hearing. There has to be. There has to be something that we are not aware of. What is it? What's going on? What is going on there? And I'm saying that in a positive way, in a way, in that, and I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic that there is something bigger that we are not in the loop about. It has to be, because if not, oh geez, what a mess, So I appreciate you guys watching. Like talking about Halo, obviously, you guys know that. I hope this, I'm looking over this video, went way longer than I expected. Expected to really nail these out. How am I going to make this, what am I going to do for my TikTok version of this? I'm going to really reduce this down. But thank you for watching. As always, appreciate you guys. If you haven't already, be sure to destroy that like button, as they say on the YouTube. Be sure to, hit my notifications, make sure that stuff is popping up in your feed. I know historically my stuff does not go to people's feeds. So if you do enjoy my content, make sure that happens and you don't miss a beat. So thank you for watching. Catch you next video. Bye.